If you're looking to build a messaging feature into your application, regardless of whether you're trying to clone WhatsApp, Slack, or building a messaging feature for your social media application, just like Messenger does, or that you can do in Instagram. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get done that messaging feature that you need in your application. Now, this doesn't require any expensive third-party tool or APIs. This will not require you to do any complicated setup. Matter of fact, we're going to do it all natively inside Flovo. Now, what you're not going to get is an encrypted secure messaging. It's going to be more relying on the privacy rules that you create. But nevertheless, it's going to be a native messaging system that you will have inside your mobile applications. With that being said, we're going to jump into the build. That will divide into three phases. Phase number one will be the database. We would build the database from scratch just to show you exactly what it entails. Number two, we're going to be building the design of this messaging application to ensure that you are getting a basic idea of what it's supposed to look like. It's not going to be anything fancy. It's going to be something relatively simple, but easy to follow. And then from there, you can build on top of that. And number three, we're going to be doing the workflows that you will need to ensure this application is running smoothly and is able to deliver the messages to the user that it needs to deliver to. With that being said, let's jump into the editor and let's start building right now. Now, just as a quick disclaimer, this whole build will be based on the Societal Labs template conversation feature set that we have built. So you can see here, this is the back end of the database for Societal Labs, which is our social media template that we sell in the Board Marketplace. So I'm opening the door for you to see how we have built this whole feature. And if you don't want to spend the time building it, you can go and get the Societal Labs template. It only costs $99 and it will save you hours of headaches and development. It's built completely for this purpose, and it will ensure that you're building using the best practices that we have developed throughout time. That being said, let's jump into our demo project and let's make sure that we are getting everything exactly how we have it. Well, first thing we're going to build is going to be the messages. And the messages will have a sender, which is an user, only one user in this case. Our recipients, and that might be misspelled. I don't know. I'm English as a second language guy, so the word would be like that. But this is a list of users, so it can be sent to one person or multiple people. And in reality, this is just to allow for group messaging. And we're going to, whether or not the message has been read, and this is a Boolean, yes or no, pretty straightforward, and whether or not it was edited. We just want to make sure that if the message has been edited, we have a way to do it. We're not going to include files, GIFs, or images because we're doing a simplified version of it. But we need the content of the message, which is the text. And we're going to create it. Now, with that being said, we have to create another converter saved, which is just another data type. And we're going to link the message to the conversation. So basically what this is, if you go on Messenger, you're going to see that we have different conversations. We have different conversations here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 different conversations down the line. Now within each conversation, you will have individual messages that are getting added to that conversation people reply back and forth. Now that we get this link, we're going to jump into the conversation on data type. And we're going to add the number of messages. And this is useful in certain scenarios where we want to make sure that we are doing a count of those messages. Perhaps not useful for everybody. We definitely want to do the chat the users, and that's a list. And this is for group messages. If it's only two people, it will only contain two. If it's more than two people, then you will have as many as you allow. We're going to have the last message date, and this just make it easier to display. The last time it was viewed, again, perhaps not useful for everybody. And the list of users that haven't read the message. And I think this is pretty solid start. Now that we have this out of the way, we're going to go into the privacy setting. And we are going to create a conversation users. And this is when in this conversation, chat users contains current user. Is able to view everything. Otherwise, ain't nothing that is going to be seen. And we're going to copy the expression user, and we're going to paste it here. And this message recipient contains current user, and this message or this message sender is the current user, and they can see everything. Otherwise, it's not seen or found or anything. And all this does is it ensures the right people are seeing the right messages, and that bad people that are just trying to read into the conversations are not reading it. Now, with that being said, this is not completely dummy proof. There are many ways that you can enhance the security, but this is the bare minimum that you should be doing in order to ensure that this data is displayed to the right people. Now, with that being said, we're going to jump to step 2, which is going to be the design aspect of it. Now, for the second section that we're going to be working on, I want to focus on the design aspect of it. And we're going to do something similar to what Meta had done with their Messenger app or the Messenger website. What we're going to do is we're going to build at least 2 different columns in which we're going to hold all the data. So we're going to jump into our demo application, and we're going to create a messaging feature page. Just to have a name for it. Let's see if we have, yep, we do have a header, and we need to make sure that this is a column, and this header needs to stand all the way out. I had done this header a long time ago, so I don't know what's going on here. We have 9%. And we're going to go back into our page. So now that we have this, we're going to drop another group, and this will be a main container group, as I like to call it. And this is going to hold all the design of our page. And this is going to be a row. In this row, we're going to have 2 different lists. For now, first one is going to be conversation, this container group. And the other one would be the messaging container group. This one is going to be about 55% of our whole thing. And this one is going to be about for 25% of it. And we're going to separate them. This one will be 100% vertically, yeah, just like this one. And that's at a minimum. All right. Then we can make this the 70% just to leave a small gap. All right. So going back to Messenger, and this is a little bit different because they don't have a header. We do. So at the top, you will have a row in which we're going to have a test that with chats. And we're not going to be using much on the styling sheet here, just for the sake of time. And then we're going to drop a group. It's actually going to be. And this group will hold an icon that will take the shoe. And this is going to be 32, 32. And it will be centered. All right, I think that's it for now. And then we're going to have the search. So again, this will be another group that will span all the way out. And this is for the search group. This is not going to be functional in this build because we're just going to focus on the design aspect of it more than anything else. But just to have it there, we're going to include it. And this is going to add icon there. Now, in this case, the icon will be 20 pesos, like 20 pesos. This is for the row. This icon is center. It's going to have a padding of 12 all around. And we're going to bring a search box. Give away the search. Span all the way out with no minimum width. And about 40 with no background and no board. And we're going to have get sys. All right, perhaps this needs to be a little bit smaller. And maybe we need to have. Okay. So the next one is going to be the repeating group. So we're going to have the conversations repeating group here. Let's make sure that we are padding all around. And a gap in between. Stand all the way out. And all the way down. This will be conversations repeating group. So this one will be, the type of content will be conversations, and we're going to do a search for conversations. The first one will be actually the chat users contains the current user. That's what we need. And limit the amount of rows, and they go all the way up. Within that, we're going to add a group that will hold all the data for this. And that group will contain the profile picture of one of the users that you're messaging with. Yes. To this way, so we can go back. Change this. You have to pass the data all the way down. You create a group. If not, you're going to have issues later on. So this is going to be the parent group conversation, chat users, first item, profile picture. But we want to make sure that it's not the current user. So when the parent group conversation chat users first item is current user, we are going to then take the parent group conversation chat users last item profile image, just to make sure that we're not seeing our own image there. This is going to have a small padding or all around. Just want to make sure that when we're hovering over it, it's looking good. Let's make sure that this is a row. Span this all the way in. This row, some gap in between. The first one here is going to be, again, you have to pass the data, so conversations, friend group conversation. Now for the test, it's going to be parent group conversation, chat users, first item, first name, chat user, parent group conversation, chat users, first item, last name. But just like this one, we're going to make sure that we are passing the person, last item. Come on. First name, from the conversation, chat users, last item, last. And we're going to bold this. And left, right. We're going to didn't do what I was expecting it to do, so we're going to copy this, paste it, and what that will have is the last message. So we're going to do a search for messages where the conversation is the parent group conversation. That would be the last item, content, truncated to 50 characters. All right. I think that's looking about right. Yeah. Now let's Again, take away the separators and the border because no point having them there. Let's see what else we got. We could add this, but we won't. All right. So that's good for this side. Perhaps this is too big. About 24 pesos might be the right one. And this is search. So not forget to change that. Now that we're done with the left sidebar, we want to work on the right sidebar. And for that, we're going to have two different elements or two different groups. Group number one will be the message, and group number two will be the composed message. And we're going to do them separately so you can see exactly how it's supposed to look like or get a better idea of how it's supposed to look. Let's jump into that one. All right, jumping into the right sidebar, what we're going to do is we're going to rename this one as the container group because within the right container group, we're going to drop a group here. That will be the create a message group. And we're going to span these all around. They're built. And then we want to be able to hide these and collapse. And it will be the same for this. And this is actually conversation messages. And again, we don't want to see it when first. This actually is being today. All right. What we're going to do is on the conversation messages, similar to what we have here, we're going to have on the messages display. Now, with that being said, we are going to get a plugin that is a reverse repeating loop. And it's this one, the second one, that will be the one that we will be using. So it's installed. And all it does is it makes sure that the message at the bottom is the new one. So here we're going to drop a repeating group. And this one would be messages. We're going to expand it. We're going to go to settings and we're going to enable the HTML. Let's see where was that at. We actually was here. If I go wrong. Yep. It's this option at the bottom that says expose the option to add ID attribute to HTML elements. We're going to check that one. I'm going to go back. And this one is going to be the messages repeating group. We're going to use that later on. And the border will be none and there will be no separators. And we're going to do a search for messages, and the conversation will be, we're going to get data from the URL, and that would be the conversation. First item, I want to say, let's see how we did it here. And that's the pattern group conversation. Okay. And that's the pattern group conversation. Okay. We did it a little bit differently, and that's how we're going to get it done. What we're going to do is we're going to create custom state. So basically, we're going to save data into the browser. And the conversation. I wanted to do it with a URL parameter, but didn't work out the way I expected it to be. And then the messages would be the ones that are in the conversation equals converse. The conversation messages. We're going to put out the page. Patio. Conversation. Conversation. Let's see if that works now. That's extremely weird. Perhaps we can put it here. I did. I don't know why I was aborted. Regardless. Message and the conversation. So now let's set that custom state. Well, actually, now we're not going to set yet. All right, that's all the way down. It's going to be 100%. The remote. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to drop a group. In this group will be the maximum 40%. And that will be the current user messages. This one would be on the right side. This one would be on the left. And this will be other users messaging. All right, the ones for the current user. On this one, the color will be blue, similar to Facebook, or Meta, or whatever you call it. Don't matter to me. Be circular. The other ones will be gray color. All right. Now that we have this, we're going to drop, well, actually, we're going to give some padding, which would be about 12 pixels all around. Same for the other one. It's going to collapse from hidden, collapse from hidden. Going to drop a text element. This will be color white. Perhaps we can make this 75% to make it a little bit darker. And this will be parent team message, current cell message. This is the parent group message content. That's just dropping exactly what the message is. All right, and we need to sort these by created date in descending. Now we're going to drop our repeating, reverse our repeating group. And the repeating group, so we're going to drop it inside. So, conversation messages. And the repeating group that is going to be uh, going for this ID. Retargeting is that. And then let's assign some ID attributes, user, message, drop here, divided by a comma, because we're going to do the same thing for this one. It's just that this one will be other user message. Let's see what else we're missing. Perhaps we want to have these. All right, this seed thing. Getting group message, conversation, chat users, first item, profile image, and just like we mentioned before, is current user, and this would be the last item. We're going to do something similar for this. Current user. So that's the last item. I think we need to 15s because we pasted. So we want to minimize them backwards. And we want to bring this down. Lastly, we want to have a gap in between these two, about 12 pixels. Right. So here's what we have so far. When the user click on a conversation, it would bring up the conversation here. That conversation will display. That being said, now we're going to create a way for users to create that conversation. So we're going to go to the create conversation group, going to bring it up. So it looks like on the first item that we have up there is going to be search for on the users. And list of option is going to be users. And it's going to search for first name, whatever. And this search box is going to be select user, create message search box. I will going to bring group focus, and we're going to drop it down there. And within, we're going to bring a pin group. That would be user, search for user, where the first name equals search files and type test. And it's going to span, and we're going to remove the separators and so on and so forth, just like we're doing. It's probably easier to use the style sheet, to be honest, at this point. Be annoyed. And then this will be the current sale user profile picture. It's going to be 32 pixels, completely round. And we're going to bring here first name and last name. Going to put this together in a group so we can have some gaps between. All right, and when the user, we're going to create, well, before doing that. All right, we have that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab my inputs. A multi-line input here to type the content. So type your message. And this will be the new message multi-line input. Lastly, we're going to drop a button at the bottom that will be send, icon and label. Then look about right. Then one last thing, this will be then a little bit wider. Oh, rolling. About 120 pesos. And we're going to remove border for that. All right. One last thing that we need to do is we're going to close this. For the conversations, we're going to drop one more. And this doesn't have to be 100%. One more thing, and that's going to be a way to reply to messages. We're going to paste these. Reply to me. Actually, send reply, clear icon. So just we're going to place these input, and this input will be reply content input. We're actually going to delete background. Placeholder will be white. Then the font would be white. This would be about 600. And this would be last. And this can be 2 pesos by 2 pesos because reality doesn't really matter. All right, so there's nothing to see yet on what we're going to do is we're going to start creating now the workflows that we need in order to get everything working together. And now for the last part of this tutorial video, we're going to jump into the workflows and to make sure that everything works how it's supposed to work. The very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to rename this. Actually, before we do that, I want to do something here. So emojis that I can add there. So we're going to add apple. We're going to copy the apple. Let's get that out of the way. And the reason why is because it's easier to find later on. All right, we're going to add a workflow, and the workflow will show the create message group. And just in case the messages within group is there, we're going to hide it. And we're going to go to the same page, messaging feature. We're going to send a parameter. It's going to type, you can call it whatever you want. It's going to be new message. Now, we're going to add another workflow that when the page is loaded, it's going to get data from the URL. It's going to be on the type, and that is on new message. It's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to show the new message, the create message group, and it's going to hide conversation message group. And all that does is that if somebody were to share the link that have the parameter create a message, that will be prompted specifically for that feature. So we got that out of the way. Now we're going to bring this one up. Individual conversation container group. And what this is going to do is, this is again, similarly, it's going to show the conversation messages group. Just in case the new message is there, we're going to hide it. But more importantly, this is going to set the state of that repeating group that we had created earlier to the current cell conversation, so it can be displayed. So we get that out of the way. I think, yep, that's pretty good so far. Now, since we're here, we're going to create the send reply. So the send reply is going to create a new thing, and that new thing will be a new message. Where do we have the message? It's going to bring all the fields down. This is going to be the reply content input value. The conversation will be on the one that is already on that state. This would be a no. It's not read yet. And we're going to add a list, and that list would be all the users that are already in this conversation. Chat users. Yep. And the sender is the current user. All right, we got that out of the way. And then we're going to reset the relevant input. We're going to bring another plugin. No, actually, we have it. It's those notifications. So we're going to drop a notifier down here. It will be top center. One pixel by one pixel, and we're going to make it last. And all this is going to do is this is going to notify the user, hey, your message has been sent. That way the user knows, okay, yeah, the message has been sent. All right, we get that out of the way. what we're going to do is we're going to drop these. That's where I need it. Drop this one. When we hit on this, what we're going to do is, let's see if we, so the conversation, we're going to create a state, and that's in the create message group. We're going to set the state. The create message group conversation. We're going to do that in a moment. What we're going to do is we're going to create a conversation. All we have to do is the chat users at the current user, and then this will be the result of step 3. Why are we doing that? We want to make sure that, number one, when the button is clicked, the intent is to create a conversation, and we want to make sure that we're passing that to the state so we can edit and continue making improvements. What is going to happen is that when the select user and an input value has changed for the select user, create a message search box, and this is going to show focus page. Let's bring group focus A. So when person click here on the user, and the user select group, what it's going to do is it's going to make change thing, and that is going to be create message conversation. Chat user is going to add the current sub user, but this is only if current and the create a message group conversation chat users doesn't contain the current server user. So basically what that means is that it's not going to add the person twice. So I'm only going to add it once. But to copy this, we're going to paste it. And now when it contains the person, what it's going to do is it's going to remove the person. And now when create message group conversation, chat users contains the current server user, what it's going to do is it's going to change the background, and the background will be gray. Why? Because we want to make sure that the user knows, hey, this person is already in there. You don't need to add it. All right, so we get that out of the way. There's only one more thing that I want to do. Actually, no. Yes. Yeah, that's all I want to do. All right. When we're hitting send, we're going to make change to a thing, and again, that will be the create message conversation. No. First of all, we're going to create a new thing, and that new thing will be a message. Content will be what is in the new message multi-line input. The conversation will be the one that we had already added to the state. Haven't been edited, haven't been read. The recipients will be the ones that are already in the conversation, so the chat users, and the sender will be the current user. Now, with that being said, For the conversation, chat messages will be the result of step 1. Let's see what happened here. Oh, okay, never mind. This would be a number 1. Or actually, this conversation, chat messages, plus 1. That's what it's supposed to be. So we're adding byte more. And we are going to bring it those notifications and the message as being sent. And lastly, we're going to hide the create a new message, and we're going to display the conversation messages group. Lastly, we're going to set a state of an element, and that will be the repeating group messages conversation, and that will be the create messages conversation. We just want to make sure we're passing data from one side to the other, making sure that everything's working how it's supposed to work, and that data is readily available anywhere you go. All right, so we're going to go to the data, and we're going to create another user. And this user would be Filman, whoever that is, don't care. For profile picture, it's going to be me. Filman at desk.com, and that should be fine. We're going to close these. We don't need it anymore. We're going to reset these. Actually, we're going to go to the index page. And we're going to add. And this video is part of a video series that I'm doing, building different features. That's why we're adding button here. This is the messaging. So we're going to add a workflow here, and this is going to lead us to the message feature page. And that should be good enough for us. So we go to the messaging feature page. Here we are. There's nothing. So we're going to create a new chat. As you can see, here we have me. We're actually going to go here to the header, and we're going to drop an image. I want to make sure that this is doing it correctly. 32, center, last, spread them out. And lastly, force it. No, that was and stretch. All right, as you can see, it's the same user that I'm logged in. So we're going to go back to the messaging picture, and this is like how you go back and forward. When chat, user first item is to user. All right, so the reason why it's doing that is because there's no other user. That's first and last. All right, so we're going to get. All right, so perhaps that's not the best way. We're going to display this. Click this and add user. All right, we're going to convert this into an input element, which keep it more flexible. Come on. How are we going to do this? Let's see. Perhaps I could add a button, so I could use this as a button. There I can search, and that will show the focus group. Let's do it like that for now. Let's see what happens. I don't like it. This is right. There was everything. So this is Jack. There's nothing display. I know this is quite slow, but what we're going to do is we're just going to delete this constraint. I might make another video just to show a face once I find it. Let's make sure that this works. So already displaying me. Minus item, current user should be current cell user. We'll figure that out later. All right, the conversation will. JFilm head test. We're going to add that there. So these are the two users. We haven't created anything yet. As you can see, change here. There is a small error. So we will see what happens here in a moment. So we're going to type the message. Hello. We're going to click send. And there is no, oh, yeah, we didn't create it. So we're going to hide these, show these. Within here, we have the current user. So what we're going to do is when current send message, sender, no, send. Yeah, sender is current user. This is going to be visible. And vice versa, when it's not, then this one is going to be visible. So this sent an image for some reason. Let's see. Well, let's make sure that this is then working. Oh, it's actually first name, last name. That was a dummy error. All right. With that being said, why is the message not appearing here? It should go with message. Let's see. All right, so there's a message there. Let's see what happened to the first message. All right, the conversation wasn't captured there. We're going to go back. Page message feature. All right. Sending a reply. All right, I guess we didn't set this correctly up here. We did, but it's getting, since the page is refreshing. All right, let's delete that. Delete messages. Again, this is stuff that you will have to figure out on your own. All right. Create a conversation. We are going to the new user from the back end because we are trying to figure out how to do it from the front end. You are going to hit send. Here we have the first conversation. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this is able to drop as needed. Okay, then are you there? All right, cool. Now we're going to log in as Jack. Let's make sure that he can reply. All right, so he's seeing the messages. Let me disable the debugger. He's seeing the messages on the left side correctly. Is here. And he's able to see them. We got the toast notification on top. We're not seeing the name there. Last name, session, so first name is current user. It's not displaying it. I need to find out why. This is this troubleshooting part that takes a little bit of time. So we can that there. We're passing the data here. But it's being displayed on the sidebar. So why is it not displayed here? I know why. It's not displaying correctly because he's displaying the parent group conversation. Messages, conversations. chat user's first item and last name. And now we should be able to see it. All right, there it is. And this is seen from the guest's profile. Now we're going to log into my profile. And we're able to see it. Conversation is there. And everything is good to go. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that this tutorial will help you create your own conversation feature, your own messaging feature in your Bubble project. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment below. Any questions, comments, I would be more than happy to look at those and reply. And if you have a minute, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me reach more people, and hopefully I can grow the channel a little bit faster, reach the 1,000 follower mark, subscriber mark, I should say, and get monetized. But above all, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.